This is the African News Update on top accolade news. The headlines. Namibia holds first Genocide Remembrance for German Colonial Atrocities. Congo's budget strained by rebel conflict. African Development Bank warns of aid cuts and slower growth. Military government in Guinea revokes dozens of gold exploration licenses. We start with the focus in politics. Namibia holds first Genocide Remembrance for German colonial atrocities. Namibia has held its first ever Genocide Remembrance Day to honor the tens of thousands of Herero and Nama people killed by German colonial forces between 1904 and 1908, a tragedy historians recognize as the first genocide of the 20th century. The date, May 28, marks the closure of German-run concentration camps in 1907 after global outrage. Germany only acknowledged the genocide in 2021, years after talks began. Namibia says the annual remembrance marks a national journey of healing and recognition of a painful chapter in its history. Shifting focus to economy, Congo's budget strained by rebel conflict. Congo is battling a financial crisis driven by escalating conflict in the east, where Rwandan-backed M23 rebels have seized key borderlands, slashing tax revenues and driving up military spending. A new wartime budget shows spending cut to $17.2 billion and tax income dropping to 12.5% of GDP. Despite spending over $1 billion on security this year, officials report persistent shortages in basic military supplies. The IMF says the growing deficit, projected at 1.2% of GDP, highlights the conflict toll and a lack of transparency in government spending. Still in economy, African Development Bank warns of aid cuts and slower growth. Africa's economic outlook is taking a hit as the African Development Bank lowers its growth forecast for the next 2 years, citing unprecedented global circumstances and shifting trade policies from major economies. The bank now expects growth to reach 3.9% in 2025 and 4% in 2026, down slightly from earlier estimates. Aid cuts are set to impact low-income countries the hardest. Still, resilience shines through, with 21 African nations projected to grow by over 5% this year. The AFDB is urging continued investment, sound governance, and legal stability to unlock the continent's full potential. Moving on in economy, military government in Guinea revokes dozens of gold exploration licenses. Guinea's military government has cancelled 129 mineral exploration permits in a sweeping move to reclaim underused assets and tighten control over its vast natural resources. Officials says the permits, mostly tied to gold exploration, have been returned to the state and a new digital system will enhance oversight. The decision follows the recent cancellation of 51 other mining licenses and reflects a broader trend across West Africa where military-led governments are asserting more control over mining revenues and operations. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In international relations, UK lifts sanction on former Zimbabwean security chiefs. The United Kingdom has lifted sanctions on 4 former Zimbabwean security chiefs and the state-owned Zimbabwe Defense Industries. Among those removed from the list are ex-police commissioner Godwin Matanga and current sports minister Anselm Sanyatwe, a former army commander. The assets are no longer frozen under the UK sanctions framework targeting human rights violators. While the move takes effect immediately, British authorities have not given specific reasons for the delisting. Moving to security, US reviews future of AFRICOM. The United States is re-evaluating the future of AFRICOM, its military command for Africa, possibly merging it with the European Command to streamline operations. US Africa Commander General Michael Langley urged African leaders to share their views through diplomatic channels, noting that stronger support could sway Washington's decision. AFRICOM was created in 2008 to address rising security concerns across the continent, but recent military coups and shifting alliances have reduced US influence, especially in West Africa. Despite troop withdrawal, the US is seeking new ways to stay engaged, including intelligence cooperation. Now in entertainment, South African film icon Presley Chiwenga passes away. South African is mourning the loss of Presley Chiwenga, the internationally acclaimed actor best known for his starring role in the Oscar-winning film Sourcey. The 40-year-old death was confirmed by his talent agency on Tuesday, calling him one of the nation's most beloved performers. With a career spanning stage, screen and writing, he left a mark on South Africans' arts and inspired future generations through his work. National leaders and the film community paid tribute, honoring his legacy as a gifted storyteller whose impact will live on. Moving to sports, Kenya's rugby officials earned global recognition. Kenya is celebrating a historic milestone in the World Rugby as 3 of its own have been appointed to the World Rugby Citing Commissioners panel. The trio will now be eligible to officiate top-level international test matches. For Ojara, who will make his top-tier debut in July 2025, the appointment marks a personal and national triumph, showcasing the Kenya Rugby Union's success in developing not only players and coaches, but also world-class officials. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojoromi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.